A very good afternoon and welcome to the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya and here are the headlines. GST revenue collection over 1 lakh crore rupees for April this year. Finance Minister says the spike in tax revenue reflects upswing in the economy and better compliance. Not a BJP wave, but a storm in Karnataka, says Prime Minister Modi. Dedicates a village electrification milestone to the labour force on May Day today during rally. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says Prime Minister's presence won't have impact on poll results. Supreme Court's direction to all high courts ensure cases of sexual assault of children are fast-tracked. Apex Court asks special courts to try such cases. Financial assistance for minority candidates qualifying UPSC prelims increased from 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees. Record 131 candidates from minority communities selected in civil services this year. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claims he has new proof that Iran was covertly pursuing nuclear weapons. In a televised presentation, says that Tehran was deceiving the world. Iran calls the claims as childish, says it's being made to influence Donald Trump's decision on the nuclear deal. First up, let's get you all the action from poll-bound Karnataka. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has begun his campaign blitz in Karnataka today. He addressed a rally in Chamarajanagar a short while ago along with BJP's chief ministerial candidate B.S. Yediyurappa. The Prime Minister said that it is not a BJP wave but a storm in Karnataka. He said that Yediyurappa is the hope for the state and he will be the next chief minister. This is his first meeting that covers the districts of Chamarajanagar as well as Mysore and Mandya, covering 22 constituencies. And the Prime Minister also will be addressing 2 more rallies in Udupi and Belagavi today. This is among the nearly 15 rallies that the Prime Minister is slated to address over the next few days.
कर्नाटक में बीजेपी की हवा नहीं, आंधी चल रही है, आंधी। आपका ये उत्साह, ये जनसागर, और मैं देख रहा हूं कि ये जो हमने व्यवस्था की थी वो भी कम पड़ गई। लोग बाहर धूप में खड़े हैं, जो धूप में खड़े हैं, ताप में तप रहे हैं, मैं उनको विश्वास दिलाता हूं, आपकी ये तपस्या हम बेकार नहीं जाने देंगे।
And the Prime Minister also remembered the labour force on May Day today. He dedicated to the milestone of the complete electrification of all villages in the country achieved on 28th of April to the labour force of the country.
28 अप्रैल की तारीख देश के इतिहास में स्वर्णिम अक्षरों में अंकित हो गई है, क्योंकि हमारे इन मेहनतकश लोगों ने कठिन से कठिन इलाकों में संकट झेल झेल कर पे 12 लोगों ने ट्रांसफार्मर उठा करके, बड़े बड़े पिलर उठा करके, पहाड़ों की चोटियों पर पहुंच करके देश के 18,000 गांव जो 18वीं शताब्दी में जी रहे थे, बिजली गांव ने देखी नहीं थी, वो बिजली पहुंचाने का काम पूर्ण कर दिया। और इसलिए मैं देश के मजदूरों का, कामदारों का, इन मेहनतकश लोगों को आज प्रणाम करता हूं।
And the Prime Minister also said that B.S. Yediyurappa is the hope for the state of Karnataka and he will be the next Chief Minister.
मंच पर विराजमान इस चुनाव में कर्नाटक की जनता की आशा आकांक्षा बने हुए हमारे भावी मुख्यमंत्री श्रीमान येदियुरप्पा जी।
And reacting to the Prime Minister's campaign, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah said that he has no personal enmity with the Prime Minister and has no objection to him coming to the state. He, however, clarified that the Prime Minister's rallies won't have any impact on the election results. He also said that the BJP does not have any moral right to talk about corruption, as for the last 4 years there has been no appointment of the Lokpal. All right, let's get all the updates from my colleague Rajat Ken, who is now joining us from the Chikmagaluru district of Karnataka. Rajat, so we just saw Prime Minister Modi this morning addressing his first public meeting in south of Karnataka, where the BJP has never been that strong. And PM Modi's campaign is also today going to take him to the north as well as coastal Karnataka. Indeed, a big boost to the BJP's campaign in the state.
Well, Aishwarya, yes, there's going to be what BJP is saying, the blitz of Prime Minister's rally. Next 5 days, we'll see 15 rallies of Prime Minister to come in this state. Now, today he started his campaign rally from the Mysuru region, I'm sorry. And there, the obvious target was the Congress party and the Congress president. The issues which Prime Minister raised quite significantly were the labourers issue, the issue of development in the state, and also the rural electrification. Well, just last week, Prime Minister had declared that all the villages across the country has been rurally electrified. And today, he also asked the Karnataka government as to what were the promises which was made by the then UPA government under Dr. Manmohan Singh, who had said that by 2009, the villages will be 100% electrified. But clearly, they failed to meet that target. So that was Prime Minister's attack on the Congress party. At the same time, he also got into a sort of a duel with Rahul Gandhi, as Rahul Gandhi had last time in one of his campaign rallies said that if given chance to speak against the government, he will say he will come with a litany of charges. And today, Prime Minister responded to that, saying, can the Congress Vice President speak for 15 minutes? So clearly we'll see a lot of these duels in days to come when the heat around the election will be intensified. Aishwarya?
Absolutely. And Rajat, now that you are in the Chikmagaluru district and you were earlier in the coastal Karnataka regions as well, you must have spoken to the voters there. Of course, the Lingayat minority issue has been grabbing all the headlines, but what are the people on the ground saying? What are the key issues for them?
Well, Aishwarya, from coastal to Chikmagaluru, it's not just a change of geography, it's also the change of political contours. While coastal is a direct contest between the BJP and Congress on the issues of fisheries, on the issues of agricultural problems concerning the arecanut and pepper plantation crops. Whereas here in Chikmagaluru area, across the Western Ghats, we come across a significant political player, Janata Dal Secular, under H.D. Devegowda. Now that is a player, especially talking of Chikmagaluru district, is talking where I am currently at the highway across one of the villages here. Out of 5 seats in Chikmagaluru district, BJP is holding 2, JDS is holding 2, and Congress has just 1. So 40% of this district's population comprises of Vokaliga, which are being considered as JDS voters, or rather the community which has preference for the JDS. Now, it has to be seen in this 3-cornered contest which of these 3 parties would be able to have more of the seats, considering it's a tight 3-way cornered contest. If you speak to the parties individually, they would say there is no contest, but on the ground there is a clear contest between the 3 parties.
Okay.
In this region at least.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Rajat, for all those updates from Chikmagaluru district. We'll keep coming back to you in the subsequent bulletins. And not just Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah also has a packed schedule today in Karnataka. He visited the Sri Sringeri Sharada Pita Math in Narsimha. He also addressed public meetings in Chikmagaluru, and there will also be a public meeting in Hassan district. And now let's get you a special report from Karnataka. The fall in the prices of commercial crops like areca nut, pepper and rubber has left the farmers of Dakshin Kannada as worried. Now, blaming the state government for not providing a loan waiver, they are also holding the policy of cheaper imports the reason for their woes. Here is a report.
These slender trees of areca nut or betel nut are a common sight in these green and fertile belt of Dakshina Kannada. Puttur is home to areca nut, pepper, rubber and cocoa plantation, with 90% farmers growing areca nuts. But of late, these commercial crops have got the farmers of this region worried due to its fall in prices.
Earlier the rate used to be around 275 to 300. Presently it has come down to 200 to 210. So that has made the farming work here very distressful, and economically it is also not viable now.
But a farmer and a local BJP supporter in Puttur also blames another menace, the yellow leaf disease. The disease has affected these crops in 3 districts of Dakshin Kannada, Puttur, Sulliya and Madikeri. In Sulliya, yellow disease has reportedly affected 30% of areca nut crops. The farmers blame the Siddaramaiah government for not living up to its promise of loan waiver.
This government during the year of 2014 had assured the delegation that had gone there to Bangalore to meet Siddaramaiah that they are going to give the loan waiver to all the farmers who are infected by this yellow disease. But that has not been realized.
The ruling Congress party, however, denies the allegations of turning its back on farmers' woes.
नहीं, कर्ज माफ हुआ है. जो विलेज में जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी है उसको पूरा इंटरनेट में उसका पूरा जो किसको ज़्यादा ये लोन लेके उसको बांधने क्यों नहीं हुआ, उसको पूरा हम एक किसानों को 1 लाख, एक किसान को 50,000 ऐसा अलग अलग इश्यू में उसको पूरा अभी इंटरनेट में उसको पूरा क्लियर हो गया है.
These farmers claim that in the last 2 years, areca nut prices have fallen nearly 1/3, from 300 rupees a kilo to 200 rupees a kilo. It is not just areca nut alone, rubber and pepper plantations too have suffered due to what farmers claim are cheap imports. Rubber is now selling at 100 rupees, a fall from 265 rupees a kilo in the last 2 years, while pepper prices have fallen from 700 rupees a kilo to 325 rupees a kilo.
ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಲೋಕಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮರಿಗೆ ಕೃಷಿ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಇವಾಗ. ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದರೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿಯನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಇದನ್ನು ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, ಅದು ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಏನಂದರೆ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಂತ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಸಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಪೆಪ್ಪರ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾವು ಗ್ರೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಇಂಪೋರ್ಟನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದರೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ರೇಟ್ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ.
Meanwhile, the state government blames centre's affidavit in the Supreme Court in the gutka ban matter, which read that areca nut causes cancer.
जो अरेका नट का इश्यू है वो सेंट्रल का है. वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया बोले तो वो कैंसर आता है, इसके लिए हम उसको ये जो सुपारी को बंद करेगा बोला है. इसलिए थोड़ा किसानों को ये उसका रेट के ऊपर इसके ऊपर किया है.
The farmers, however, strongly contest the affidavit's claims, saying studies have been conducted which has proven that areca nut doesn't cause cancer.
The issue of loss to areca nut farmers may seem small in the larger scheme of things if one looks at the campaign across Karnataka. Yet it happens to be one of the most talked about issues in Dakshin Kannada's this part of agrarian belt. The farmers feel the solution to the problems can only be worked out jointly by both the centre and the state. With camera person M.S. Suresh in Puttur, Rajya for Rajya Sabha TV.
That was our special segment on the upcoming Karnataka Assembly election, and time now to take a very short break. We'll be right back with more news.
Tales that inspire. stories of social change. A salute to diversity, promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. The government today announced that the total revenue collection under GST for the month of April crossed the 1 lakh crore rupee mark. In a tweet, the Finance Ministry said that the buoyancy in the tax revenue of the GST reflects the upswing in the economy and better compliance. It added that the April month was also the month for the filing of quarterly return for composition dealers, and out of the 19.31 lakh composition dealers, 11.47 lakh filed their quarterly returns. The ministry also noted that the total revenue earned by the centre and the state governments after settlement in the month of April 2018 is 32,493 crore rupees for the CGST and 40,257 crore rupees for the SGST. On to some other news. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the youth to join the Swachh Bharat initiative as interns, the government has launched the Swachh Bharat Summer Internship. Now, a first-of-its-kind initiative of the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation in association with the Ministry of Human Resource Development and the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. The 3-month internship period has begun today and it concludes on 31st of July. The program aims to engage millions of youngsters across the country to encourage them to contribute to the Swachh Bharat mission as a mass movement. Now, students can sign up for the Swachh Bharat Summer Internship by logging on to the portal www.sbsi.mygov.in, and the last date for the registration is 15th of May. Under the internship, all the interns who complete at least 100 hours of sanitation-related work in villages would be given a Swachh Bharat certificate, and those who complete the internship with additional specific outputs would also gain 2 curriculum credits, specially allowed by the UGC. And Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has said that a record 131 minority candidates have cleared the UPSC Civil Services examination for 2017. Naqvi attributed the milestone to the centre's policy of development with dignity without any discrimination. Naqvi claimed that this is the first time since independence that so many people from minority communities have cleared the UPSC examination. He added that under the Nai Udan and Naya Savera schemes of the Minority Affairs Ministry, the financial assistance for those qualifying the UPSC prelims has been increased from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees.
डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का माहौल था उसको खत्म किया है और विश्वास के माहौल को हमने कायम करने की कोशिश की है, जिसमें हम सफलता हमें मिल रही है। इस बार हमने इससे उत्साहित होकर के, इनकरेज होकर के जो कोचिंग है, फ्री कोचिंग जो देते हैं नया सवेरा नई उड़ान के माध्यम से यूपीएससी के लिए या और भी जो परीक्षाएं हैं उनके लिए, बैंकिंग के लिए, मेडिकल के लिए, उसको हमने दुगना किया है। और साथ ही साथ हमने जो निवास और आवास की समस्या बच्चे और बच्चियों को होती थी, क्योंकि बड़े शहरों में इस तरह की कोचिंगें होती हैं, उनको भी हमने उस व्यवस्था को भी हमने करने का फैसला किया है।
And on to some other news. The government has floated a global tender seeking applications from shipping firms as part of its efforts to revive an option of sending pilgrims for Hajj by sea. Now, according to Union Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, the Secretary and the Joint Secretary from the Ministry will soon hold talks in Saudi Arabia with the officials from its shipping ministry and others on issues related to the travel of Hajj pilgrims by sea. Earlier, Saudi Arabia had given its nod to India's plan to revive the option of over 2 decades after the practice was stopped. Now, this year, a total of 1,28,702 pilgrims, about 47% of them women, will travel through the Hajj Committee of India. And for the first time, women Hajj assistants would be deployed to help the Indian women pilgrims and monitor the facilities provided to them.
हमारी कोशिश है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम जल्द से जल्द उस पानी के जहाज़ से हज की यात्रा को पुनः शुरू कर सकें। 1993 में हज यात्रा, आखिरी हज यात्रा पानी के जहाज़ से हुई थी। उसके बाद हमने ये प्रोसेस किया था। पिछली बार हज जो सऊदी अरब की सरकार है वो इन प्रिंसिपल पानी की जहाज़ से हज यात्रा पर सहमत हो गई थी और इस बार जो है हमने ग्लोबल टेंडर डाला है। उसमें हमने जो है वो जारी किया है। ग्लोबल टेंडर के लिए एप्लीकेशन मांगी है तमाम शिपिंग कंपनियों से। आने वाले कुछ ही दिनों में हमारे सेक्रेटरी मिनिस्ट्री के और जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी भी सऊदी अरब जा रहे हैं, जो वहाँ की शिपिंग मिनिस्ट्री के साथ और वहाँ की सरकार के साथ शिप के माध्यम से, जहाज़ के माध्यम से, पानी के जहाज़ के माध्यम से हज यात्रा की सारी प्रक्रिया और बातचीत को आगे बढ़ाने की दिशा में बात करेंगे।
And on to the big breaking news coming in. The Supreme Court has directed all the high courts to ensure that the cases of sexual assault of children are fast-tracked and decided by special courts. The Apex Court has also directed the high courts to constitute a committee of 3 judges to regulate and monitor the trials of sexual assault cases of children. All right, let's get more details. My colleague Aruna Thakur is now joining us on the phone line for more details. Aruna, now Supreme Court has directed all the high courts to ensure that the cases of sexual assault of children are fast-tracked. Tell us the details, what exactly the court said and what directions have been issued to the high courts.
Aishwarya, recently the Supreme Court has said that the high courts will set up a committee. Will be comprising of the high court judges only, and they will ensure that all the district cases with the respective states, they will ensure that there should be a fast track of all these cases related to the POSCO Act, coming under the POSCO Act. Okay, and the second guideline is very important, that is related with the special task force with regard to the DGP, that all the DGP set up a special task force which will see that all these cases will be taken care of with regard to the witnesses. They will take care of the witnesses, that special security will be provided to them, and so that no hurdle will come in scrutiny and while investigation of such cases. And secondly, the court also sent the guidelines that these children should be provided special. These courts will be of child friendly, so that no hurdles will come in the entire process of such cases. And most importantly, the petition have sent a list of the cases pending in the entire across India, which is very alarming. Which is it is almost more than 1,02,000 cases across India, where the UP has the highest number of cases, which is of 30,000 and more. Aishwarya.
Yeah, Aruna, I would like to know from you that, the Supreme Court, we understand, was hearing a plea. Tell us some more about the plea that was filed, on which the Supreme Court gave these directions to the high courts. All right, we seem to have lost that line with my colleague Aruna Thakur there. We'll try to connect with her again to get more details on that story. Meanwhile, let's get you some other news. International news coming in. The new cabinet of Sri Lanka's unity government was sworn in today. Sri Lanka's President Maithripala Sirisena appointed new ministers in the cabinet reshuffle following the defeat of a no-confidence vote against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and a drubbing at the local government polls. Remember, Sirisena had suspended parliament in the backdrop of the ongoing political turmoil in the country, and the unity government of the Sirisena's party, SLFP, and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's party, UNP, was thrown into crisis after the ruling parties lost the local council elections in the month of February to former President Mahindra Rajapaksa's new party, and thereafter the opposition moved a no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Wickremesinghe that he survived despite 16 members of the Sirisena's party joining the opposition to vote against the Prime Minister. President Sirisena then prorogued Parliament after those SLFP legislators who had voted for the no-confidence motion quit the National Unity Government. Big story coming in from the United States. The White House has delayed its decision on tariffs for imports from the EU, Canada and Mexico. US President Donald Trump today signed a proclamation to delay for 30 days the implementation of his steel and aluminium import tariff hikes for EU, Canada and Mexico. The US also reached agreements for permanent exemptions for Argentina, Australia and Brazil. The decision means that the US has avoided the potential for a trade battle with Europe as it prepares for tense trade talks in China this week. The confrontation stems from the US president's decision in the month of March to slap tariffs of 25% on imported steel and 10% on imported aluminium. And Donald Trump had justified the action by saying that it was needed to protect American metal producers from unfair competition and to bolster national security. Now, some countries were then exempted temporarily from those tariffs, including Canada, the EU and Mexico. However, China was not included in the exemptions, and it later retaliated with its own duties on some US imports. And the US has further threatened to import more tariffs on $150 billion of Chinese goods. And Israel has said that Iran has been pursuing nuclear energy program despite the pact that it signed in 2015 to curb its nuclear energy program in return for the lifting of sanctions. On Monday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, during an address from the Israel Ministry of Defense in Tel Aviv, said that Israel has the evidence that the Islamic Republic is keeping an atomic archive at a secret compound. Now, calling it one of the greatest achievements in the history of Israeli intelligence, Netanyahu displayed what he said were files that demonstrate Iran plan to continue pursuing a nuclear weapons program despite the 2015 deal that it had brokered with the international community. Meanwhile, Iranian foreign minister tweeted to say that the evidence was a rehash of old allegations which had already been dealt with by the United Nations nuclear watchdog. US President Donald Trump applauded the announcement and said that it showed that he was 100% right in criticizing the 2015 pact that was agreed to by former President of the US, Barack Obama, Russia, China, the UK, France and Germany. That's it in this edition of news, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha TV. Thanks for watching.